Hi everyone, I am Sreekanth. We are discussing programming in C language, program fundamentals topic. The agenda of this session is about developing program, key terms, program development lifecycle, and suitable examples. See, when you want to develop any program, then you need to maintain these program development phases like problem analysis phase, program design phase, coding phase, testing and debugging phase, documentation, and maintenance phase. Okay, we try to discuss in detail each phase in this session. What is problem definition? The first step in this process of program development is the thorough understanding and identification of the problem for which is the program or software is to be developed. In this step, the problem has to be defined formally. All the factors like input output, processing requirement, memory requirement, error handling, interfacing with other programs have to be taken into what? Consideration in this stage. A problem statement is a concise description of an issue to be addressed or a condition to be improved upon. It identifies a gap between the current state and a desired state of a process or product. Problem statements are widely used by most business and organization to execute process improvement projects. A simple and well-defined problem statements will be used by the project team to understand the problem and work towards developing a solution. The main purpose of the problem statement is to identify and explain the problem. Okay, so in the program development phases, first phase is called problem definition. See, what is a problem? Once you understand the problem, then we can provide the solution of the particular problem. Okay, here the question of the particular program is represents what? Problem. Okay, problem definition. So we need to provide the solution. The main purpose of the problem statement to identify and explain the problem. Okay, program design, PDL, program design language, is a method for designing and documenting methods and procedures in a software. It is related to what? Pseudocode. But unlike pseudocode, it is written in plain language without any terms that could suggest the use of any programming language or library. See, when you want to design the program, see, before development of that problem solution, first we are understanding the what is the problem. Then you need to design the solution. You need to provide in the form of design. In programming, we are providing the solution in the form of designing called algorithm, pseudocodes, and flowchart. What is algorithm? Set of instructions designed to perform a specific task. Pseudocode is a text-based detail algorithmic design tool. Flowchart, diagram that represents what? A workflow or process, or pictorial representation or diagrammatical representation of solution of the given problem in the form of what? Flowchart representations. So in this way we can able to design the solution of the given problem in the form of what? Program designs like algorithm, pseudocodes, and a flowchart. Okay. Next, coding. See, once design is completed based on the particular problem, we are designed, providing a solution in the form of design. Next, start for implementing it using the standard name is called coding or implementing. Once the design process is complete, the actual computer program is written. The instructions are written in a computer language. In this process, all the syntax errors, errors related to spelling, missing commas, undefined labels like syntax and semantics are all eliminated. So until unless compilation errors are free, you cannot go forward. Okay, must be compile time errors and runtime errors should be free. Then only we may get execution of that code. In computer programming, the process of creating and maintaining the source code of computer programs. Already we know about source code, right? Source code is a version of software as it is originally written, typed into a computer by a human or end user or programmer in plain text. Okay, like high level instructions or user understandable instruction. What are the common aspects of coding standards? Every programming language consists its own coding standards. You must follow it. Like safe, it can be used without causing harm. Secure, it cannot be hacked. Reliable, it functions as it should every time. Testable, it can be tested at the code level. Maintainable, it can be maintained even as your code base grows. Portable, it works the same in every environment. Okay, portable, you can carry the code and you can run in the different platforms. Naming conventions, the naming conventions are very important for every programming language. Okay, the naming convention is how you package class methods, variables, functions, modules, methods, structures, how we are going to be representing the names in the particular programming language. Generally it maintains some rules, case rules we may call it, like camel case rules. The first word is small, the second word first letter is capital. Like Pascal case rule, each word first letter is capital. Snake case rule, like underscore, we are using underscore. Generally these underscore used in Python and some front end frameworks and back end technologies. Like this Pascal case and camel case generally used in what, like middle level layers and back end development, like programming developments applications, there we are going to be used. Okay, files and folder naming and organization. So this is how your file and folder should be named and structured. Commenting and documenting, see, this makes it easy for the reviewers of your code to better understand codes, methods and declarations. Classes and functions, this specifies how classes and functions should behave. Testing, this specifies which approach and tools should be used to test the code based on the particular problem only you provided the solution, or something else is there, then how to identify based on the testing and the test case methodologies. So this is about coding is the main phase where we are going to be providing implementation of the given problem. Okay, designing solution provided in problem designing or program designing. Actual implementation is done in the coding phase or implementation phase. Here we are writing the code or instructions based on the particular programming language according to the solution of particular problem. Okay, the next phase is called debugging. It's a very important word. Bug is nothing but an error occurred in a program. Here debugging is a process of finding and resolving the bugs with computer programs, softwares or systems. Simply debugging means what? Correcting the errors occurred in the program. Okay, or bugs in the program, rectifying the bugs in the program. So at this stage the errors in the programs are detected and corrected. This stage of program development is an important process. Debugging is also known as what? Program validation. See, debugging tactics can involve interactive debugging, control flow analysis, unit testing, integration testing, log file analysis, monitoring at the application or system level, memory dumps and profiling. Many programming languages and software development tools also offers programs to aid in debugging known as debuggers. Like in example in Java, we are going to use exception handling and type checking concepts. Like in C or assembly, they rises what? Memory corruptions. To avoid, memory debugging tools are using. Like some common errors which might occur in the program includes what? Uninitialization of variables, reversing of order of operands, confusion of numbers and characters, inverting of conditions. Okay, just you remember here, debugging is nothing but what? The process of finding and resolving and rectifying the bugs in the program. Okay, program code. Testing, the program is tested on a number of suitable test cases based on the actual problem, whether development is done based on the actual problem or something else developed. Then who is going to be testing? That is done by what? Tester or test engineer. A test plan of the program has to be done at the stage of the program design itself. This ensures a thorough understanding of the specification. The most trivial and the most special cases should be identified and tested. It is always useful to include the maximum and minimum values of all variables as test data. Information about the quality of the software product or service under the test. Simply you can remember, testing is a process of identifying a defects, where a defect is any variance between actual and expected result. A mistake in code is called what? Error. Error found by tester is called defect. Defect accepted by what? Development team is called a bug. And build does not meet the requirements, then it is what? Failure. These terminologies are very important in what? Program or application development. Next, documentation. So in this phase, documentation is a very essential step in the program development. Documentation help the users and the people who maintain the software. This ensures that future modification, if required, can be done easily. Also, it is required during redesigning and maintenance. Use it to describe, explain, or instruct regarding some attributes of an object, system, or procedure, such as its parts, assembly, installation, maintenance, and use. Documentation can be provided on what? Paper, online, or on a digital or analog media, such as audio tapes or CDs or any external drives. Examples are like user guides, white papers, online help, and quick reference guides, paper or hard copy documentation. So this is about what? Documentation. This documentation consists what is problem, actual problem, how you provided the design for the particular problem using programming design, what are the steps involved, how the coding is going to be done with the specific programming language, and how the testing is happened, and how you are going to be bugs are identified and debuggings are going to be done in the program phase. Like that, complete information is noted in what? Documentation. Okay. Last phase is called maintenance. Updating and correction of the program for changed conditions and field experience is accounted for in maintenance. Is a modification of a software product after a delivery to correct faults, to improve performance or other attributes. Maintenance becomes essential in following situations like change in specification, change in equipment, errors which are found during the actual execution of the program. See, this maintenance takes very vital role when end users are using the particular program or software in their machines. That time they are facing any kind of issues or problems, then this maintenance team helps them to like using way of using that program executions and software, that will become what? Maintenance. And it also improves what? Any kind of faults or any kind of advanced level of improvements required, this maintenance team is going to be generating the reports to what? Next level. So this is about when you want to develop any kind of program, so you need to remember about these steps for any development of program required. Program development phases like problem analysis phase. You need to identify what is exactly a problem. Based on that problem, you need to provide the solution in the form of design called program designing phases. Based on the design, we start for implementing or writing the instructions or coding called coding phase. Based after completion of coding, testing is done based on the problem whether coding is done or not. After that, maintaining documentation and maintenance phase. See, this is general execution flow of program development phases. Okay, we try to discuss some key terms what frequently we are using in the programming development environment, like procedural programming, an approach to program design in which a program is separated into small modules that are called by the main program. Always remember, for any program want to execute it, execution always starts from what? Main function or main program. Okay. Module. Here module is a software component or part of a program that contains one or more routines. Variable. Variable is nothing but a named memory location defined in a computer that is used to store the current value of data item used in that program. Simply remember, variable is nothing but a named memory location. Don't worry, I will give much explanation regarding these variables, data types in the next programming sessions. Okay. Just here you need to concentrate about the definitions and terms what we frequently used in the programming. Next, OOP, object oriented programming, an approach to program design in which a program consists of objects that contain data, is nothing but attributes, and process is nothing but functions and methods to be used with those objects. AOP, aspect oriented programming, an approach to program design in which different functions are clearly separated so program components can be developed and modified independently from one another, and the components can be easily reused with what separate non-related objects. Next, program development, the process of creating application programs are nothing but program development. PDLC, program development lifecycle, the process of containing these phases of program development like analyzing, designing, coding, debugging, and testing, implementing and maintaining what application software, that comes under what PDLC. From the problem to the solution, whatever the phases involves, that comes under what PDLC, program development lifecycle. Problem analysis, the phase of the program development lifecycle in which the problem is carefully considered and the program specifications are developed. Programmer means we are going to be write the program, right? A person whose job it is to write, test and maintain computer programs, generally we may call those are all programmer. Program design, the phase of the program development lifecycle in which the program specifications are expanded into what complete design of the new program. Okay. Flow chart, a program design tool that graphically, diagrammatically or pictorially represented execution is going to be represented in the form of what step by step the actions a computer program will take. What are the steps by step the actions of a computer program will take, that is represented diagrammatically or graphically or pictorial representation is called flowchart. Pseudocode, pseudocode, a program design tool that uses what plain text like English like statements to outline the logic of a program. UML, Unified Modeling Language, a set of standard notations for creating business models, widely used for what? Modeling object oriented programs in the real world environment like software engineering environment. For designing phase they used UML for representing diagrammatical representation of what these class object notations, whatever the solution provided of the given problem in diagrammatically in the design phase, they used what UML. Next, control structure, a pattern for controlling the flow of logic in a computer program. Module or method is nothing but what control structure, how it going to be executes, where the control is there, control where that cursor or control is flowing, that comes under what control structure. Sequence control structure, a series of statement that follows one another. Sequence means what? Step by step, continuously, sequentially, one by one after another. Okay. Selection control structure, a series of statement in which the results of a decision determines the direction the program takes. Selection means what? Exactly where exactly that control should be flow, that comes under what? Selection control structure. Repetition control structure, I want to execute the statement in number of times, like I am Sreekanth, welcome to programming in C language. I want to print this statement like 10 times. Then I want to repeat that statement. You don't want to duplicate that statement 10 times. Okay. I want to repeat that statement 10 times, 100 times or n number of times. That time this program enables what? Repetition control structures. A series of statements in a loop. We may call it is what? Loop, that are repeated until a particular condition is met. Okay. See, these are all what common terminologies or key terms we are using in what program development environment. Okay. Like program coding, the phase of the program development life cycle in which the program code is what written using a programming language. Coding, the process of writing the programming language statements to create a computer program. Simply what we are going to be providing a solution of the given problem with a set of instructions, that comes under what coding. See, we are all coders or developers, or we are going to be providing a solution of the given problem, right? Like we are all become what? Software engineers. Source code, software as it is originally written by what? Human or end users, or plain like simply we can call, right, end users or programmers generally involved for writing the source code in the high level language in a plain text. A computer program, before it is compiled, before compilation, whatever the code is written, that is high level language code, user understandable code or human understandable code. Okay. Program debugging and testing, the phase of the program development lifecycle that ensures a program is correct and works as intended. Okay. Some testing like alpha and beta testing, these two types of testing that increases the success and lifespan of the product, of a product in the market. An alpha test is first conducted, which is on site at the company, and beta tests are sent out to different states or countries to ensure the program is 100% ready for use. Okay. Debugging, the process of ensuring a program is free of errors. Object code, object code or byte code is nothing but what? Machine understandable code, the machine language version of a computer program generated when the programmer source code is compiled. Okay. So we discussed that in detail. So once we are translating like language with the help of language translators, translating this source code into what? Object code. Object code is used to understand by what? Machine, but not the end users. Language translator, a software program that converts what? Source code to what? Object code. Okay. Several language translators are there, right? Like assemblers in the second generation language, third generation language onwards, like compilers, interpreters. These are all language translators converting what? Particular high level language into what? Machine understandable language. Compiler, compiler is a language translator that converts an entire program into what? Machine language before executing it. Interpreter, a language translator that converts what? Program statements what? Line by line into machine language, immediately executing each one. See, these are all what? Various what? Key terms commonly we are using in what? Program development environment. See, another topic we need to discuss here, program development life cycle. See, this program development life cycle involves, what are the phases here? Problem analysis, task analysis, algorithm development, algorithm testing, coding, testing and debugging, documentation, implementation, maintenance and enhancement. See, this comes under what? Complete life cycle. This comes under what? Program development life cycle. Okay. So I can give one best and easy example you may understood. See, what is a program? A program consists of what? A series of instructions that a like computer process to perform the required operation. So I take one simple example like addition. Okay. So observe, you can easily understand what is problem actually. Say I'm writing a problem. See, I want to perform right addition of two numbers. Okay. So simply I'm given the problem is what? To perform addition of two numbers. I'm writing in the short code addition of two numbers. This is my problem. Okay. Addition of two numbers. See, how to provide a solution of this problem? Through programmatically. First, the phase is called problem analysis. We are going to be analyzing the problem. What is the exact problem? Okay, we analyzed. We need to provide a solution of what? Addition of two numbers. We are analyzing what next? Task analysis. Next, we are writing what? Algorithm development. Algorithm development means providing this problem solution in the form of what? Pseudocode. Pseudocode is nothing but what? Like a plain text, like English language, general English language. We are writing first what we required. When you want to perform addition of two numbers, like we required two variables like x, and we required another variable called y. Next, I want to store the result called r. Like that I'm going to be writing. After that, assigning some value to the x, the value called 10. Okay. Next, assigning some value called y, some value is called 90. Next, I want to perform what? Addition. What is the problem here? Addition of two numbers. Then I am performing what? Addition of two numbers like x plus y. This output is going to be stored into the one variable called r. R is nothing but here result. Then what is the value? R is equals to x plus y, 10 plus 90. Next, I want to print this result. print R. See, this is what general pseudo code I wrote, rough pseudo code I wrote. Okay, print R. That's it. Where we begin, the begin is starts from here. Okay, this is called beginning the code. This is the beginning the code, and where we are going to be ending the code, here I am going to be ending the code. So this steps involved, right? This is called algorithmic representation, step by step process to providing a solution of the given problem, or pseudo code. Here pseudo code is nothing but what? We are provided a solution in the form of what? Plain text, high level instruction, right? General English, we are providing a solution. Here you can give in detail. I want to perform addition of two numbers. I required one variable called x. I need another variable called y for input purpose, and I want to store the result for both performing x and y, storing the result variable called r. Next, I am performing a logical operation called r is equals to x plus y. Before logical operation, I want to perform what? Initialization of variables. I want to assign some value called x. I am assigning some value called y. After that, we are performing logical operation called addition. R is equals to x plus y. Next, I am printing the value, print r. Next, end of the program. See, this is about general pseudocode. Once you return the pseudocode, next you need to represent this pseudocode in what? Diagrammatical representation. That comes under what? Algorithmic. Task analysis is done. After that, designing. We are going to be designing is done with the help of what? Flow chart. Here flow chart is nothing but what? Diagrammatical representation and pictorial representation or graphical representation. Okay, so don't worry. So I will explain the next coming session what are the symbols involved into the flow chart, how to design that flow chart based on this pseudo code. We'll discuss. Okay, just assume and imagine what I try to convey here. After that, once design is completed, based on the design, I am going to be constructing the code or developing the code or implementing the code based on particular programming language. If you are writing in C, then we are writing the instructions based on the C syntax and semantics. We are constructing the code, providing a solution of this addition of two numbers in the C programming. If you are developing in the C++, you are writing the code in C++. If you are developing in the Java applications, then you try to write Java syntax and semantics. You need to construct the code, providing a solution of this addition of two numbers. Like you can develop or write the code based on the particular programming language. In this coding session, you can choose a particular programming. You can provide the solution of this given problem in the C language, C++, Java, .NET, PHP, Python, Perl, based on the particular programming. Once coding is done, then here debugging is required, because anything is went wrong in the coding or not. This debugging is going to be take vital role for identifying the bugs in the coding or program environment. If it is any bugs are occurred, we need to provide a solution rectifying, removing any bugs in the program. Once debugging is done, then testing is going to be done. After that, documentation, implementation and maintenance is going to be happened. So this is keep on working for every problem. For that cycle is called program development life cycle, we may call it. Okay, simply I can explain here. The program development life cycle consists, what are the phases? Analysis or define the problem. See, an understanding of the problem is an important step. So firstly, the problem is analyzed preciously and completely. According to this analysis, the developer comes to know the scope within which the development of the problem is to be done. Okay, see, this problem analysis is very important. You need to identify what exactly a problem. Here I given very simple example problem, right? Addition of two numbers. But in real world, in the real world projects, we cannot go with these simple kind of problems. Very complex kind of algorithms, complex kind of user end requirements are there, right? So based on that user requirement, we need to identify the problem, and we start for analyzing, designing, coding, testing, debugging, documenting and providing the maintenance. So this is what we are discussed in this session about complete program development life cycle. Once the problem is going to become, how to understand that problem, based on that problem, how we are going to be providing the design based on some algorithmics and some flowchart pseudocodes, and after that coding, testing and documentation maintenance is going to be done with the program development life cycle. So I hope all are clear about the basic program development happening in what? The software engineering environment. See, these are all the phases you need to remember for developing any kind of program, like problem analysis phase, program design phase, coding phase, testing and debugging phase, documentation and maintenance phase. So this is the way we can identify problem definition, program design, coding, debugging, testing, documentation, maintenance. Some key terms commonly what we used in the real world environment. Those terminologies I wrote here, provided some simple definitions. Okay, you can easily understand about these key terminologies commonly used in programming environment. Okay, also we discussed in detail about program development life cycle, like problem analysis, task analysis, algorithm development, algorithmic testing, coding, testing and debugging, documentation, and further any implementation is required, implementation, maintenance and enhancement. See, it won't stop until completion of complete product of the software application. This life cycle is keep on like a circle is going to be happening. Okay, every problem started from here and providing a solution up to here, up to the documentation and maintenance. Again, any enhancement is there, again start with the problem analysis, like keep on rolling, like problem analysis, task analysis, algorithm development, algorithm testing, coding, testing and debugging, documentation, implementation, maintenance and enhancement. Okay, so this is about what the how the developing a program in the software environment. Okay, so we are not talked about software development life cycle. Here I discussed about program development life cycle, PDLC. Okay, here we understood what is a program, how the program performing a task from the given problem. Also we discussed here program development life cycle, like what is problem and how to analyze a problem, how like the task analysis, and what is algorithm, algorithm development, algorithm testing, coding and designing and coding, after that debugging a program, testing, documentation and maintenance and enhancement. Okay, so this is what developing what a particular program in programming environment. Simply we can call it is program development life cycle. Also I explained some key terminologies. Okay, fine. So that's it for the today session. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you all.